What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an all-new episode of Blerdkast Live, and today we're doing Black People in Nerdy Spaces. Today is a kind of a special episode, as today we are also celebrating MLK Day. So a lot of today's episode will parallel of what his message was and what we are currently doing today. But before we begin, I would like to introduce my moderator for the evening. How are you doing today, Ms. Joyce Stevens?
I am doing well. I'm glad to be here. Being someone that focuses on like history and diversity and inclusion in my day job, today is like right up my alley. So this should be a really good show. I'm gonna do my best not to just run it and talk all by myself. But let's go around the horn and introduce everybody else. We're going to start with our producer, but today he is also a co-host. So James, introduce yourself.
James, I go by Miles Simmons. I do a lot of the podcasts here for the Moana Nui network, opinionated variants of the 616, What You Watching, Thistory, and Geek Speak on Sports.
Awesome. And the lovely Supreme Attorney.
Hi, I'm the Supreme Attorney. I am a real attorney. Practice out in Georgia. On all my socials, I'm the Supreme Attorney. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay. And now, Skip.
Baby boys, baby girls, what's going on? It's your boy SKIP.88 here from Blerdover Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit in the city of Birmingham, where we celebrate the Black excellence in the nerd community while giving back to our community in a nerdy way.
That's why I saved you for last. I love the way you come in.
and I'm 12, so
you're 12.
Oh, no.
In leap years. Okay. All right. So today our topic is Black people in nerdy spaces. But because it is also MLK Day, we're going to try and be a little bit more deep than we sometimes are. And since it is since it is the day that we celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday, I want to start off talking about Star Trek. So I think most of the people on this screen already know this, but for those of you who are watching, you may not know that Martin Luther King Jr. is the reason that Nichelle Nichols stayed on Star Trek. Because imagine, if you will, a Black woman in the 60s on a very popular show about space and future. And you got to understand, the issue with white supremacy is they don't consider us a part of the future. Like ever. That's why they get irritated even now about seeing a woman as a leader or a person of color as a leader, because you're not supposed to be here. This is our future. At most, you might be, some servant class. And here's Nichelle Nichols being a whole officer on Star Trek. And, we all know that Captain Kirk really, William Shatner actually went out of his way to make sure that the kiss that he shared with her made it to screen. But she was ready to give up. She was so done with the nonsense that you can imagine the nonsense she was going through in Hollywood. The racism, the sexism, the harassment, internal and external. She was like, deuces, I don't need this. And Martin Luther King convinced her to stay. And the reason he convinced her to stay is because he knew that we needed representation like that. We needed not only a Black person, but a Black woman having some intelligence, not being a maid, not being a stereotype, having representation in the future of America or of the world. We needed her there. And so he convinced her to stay. And so the reason a lot of us love Uhura to this day is because Martin Luther King was like, you can't leave, I need you. So that's the connection to MLK Day. But I just want to ask, when we talk about like representation, we're going to jump right to that. Then we'll come back to what it's like for us to be Black and nerdy at the same time. How are you all feeling about the arc of representation from Nichelle Nichols to today? Is it better? Is it worse? Are there ups? I'm sure there are ups and downs, but what have you seen that is giving you some encouragement, and what would you like to see?
It's gotten better to an extent, and recently it's pretty much fallen off a cliff. Growing up in the 80s, I will say that there wasn't a lot of Black-centered programming on television. So whenever something came out, it was appointment television, and we have to support it because we don't know if we're going to get this again, whether it was a movie, a TV show, whatever have you. We had to be there to support it just to make sure we got something else. Fast forward probably over the last 10 years or so, we have so much in the media space now, as far as TVs and movies, that we can actually be critical of some things like this is good, this is bad. The downside is that we're at the point to where it's like we've been told by Hollywood, we don't want you here, create your own. And we create our own to be submitted for awards and whatnot, and they won't even watch it to consider it.
Yeah.
You know, perfect example is Sinners. You know, and here's the thing, expansion of the voting body for Academy Awards and whatnot in Hollywood is not a good idea, because you're talking about a voting base that is 75% white or male, has been since its inception. They're not trying to switch that. It will always be 75% white or male. They tried expanding by bringing in more, you know, diverse voters, but the problem is you still can't overtake that white majority.
Right.
Think about Straight Outta Compton. None of the white voters, male or female, watched that movie.
Right. The reason being it's too loud.
Right. Didn't even watch Sinners. Didn't even consider it. One of my co-hosts on the sports show, specifically about Sinners, she's a Bills fan, and she's in a chat group to where these Bills fans, and yes, the majority of them were white, were considering whether they should watch the movie because Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Bills, his wife, now wife, is in that movie, Haley Steinfeld. Haley Steinfeld found out while filming that film that her grandfather, one of her grandfathers, is Black. So it's kind of her own reckoning as far as being a part of that picture. And here you have fans of her husband contemplating whether they should support the movie because they don't feel it's for them.
That's an interesting point that you make about they don't feel it's for them, but they are tacitly admitting, whether they notice or not, that what you're saying is all the other films were not for me, right? So I'm supposed to hypothetically relate to The Breakfast Club or understand what's going on in Back to the Future, or fall in love with Steel Magnolias and all these other movies that didn't represent me at all, right? I'm supposed to understand that because they accept their reality as the norm, as the base. And anything outside of that is weird or off or niche. You know, how is being a movie about vampires in the South, how is that niche? Mind you, they had no problem going to see, what was the other vampire movie? Dusk Till Dawn. And that movie is ridiculous. You know,
which one? Because you know they made like 5 or 4 of them, so it's like a prequel, a mid, the middle, the end. It was so many to pick from. So
just greenlit everything, and then all of it was nonsense. The original I thought was funny, but you know it didn't need prequels and sequels and mediums and offshoots and all that other kind of stuff. And here we are with Sinners, like you said, we made something. We being Ryan Coogler made something for us, by us, but inclusive of everyone. Anyone can go see a movie, right? Oh yeah, and 30 Days of Night just came out, and then 28 days later, now we're on 28 years later, all of that. You know,
Queen of the Dam.
Queen of the Dam was really a Vampire Lestat movie. She wasn't even the main character in her own.
She was like the side character, to be honest. She wasn't the main character.
Yeah, she was, but I was naming a vampire movie.
Oh, what about the new interview with the vampire?
Oh yeah, the series.
Yeah. That series is really good. If y'all haven't watched it, you should. It's on Netflix now, so you can catch it all.
It's very yaoi coded.
It is. It absolutely is.
That's what made me watch it.
Of course.
But Joy, to touch upon your subject, basically, you know, our stories coming from Black America, you know, our stories always, you know, is tragic from our beginning. When we came over here, how we was brought from our continent to this continent. And that's been like the ongoing story for Black people. And then of course, this Cheeto Dorito person, I ain't gonna name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. He said he don't want to relive that past because he don't think that's America, even though that's the history of America. But he thinks it's this America, it's this pleasant place where nothing really happened. Everything was founded. We started it, which it wasn't true. So in that aspect, people get tired, people get upset, people get mad because they are sick and tired of hearing our story told in so many ways. So the reason Sinners didn't get the push that it didn't get pushed the way it's supposed to get pushed because it still told our story, but Ryan Coogler made it to a way it was entertaining, but our story was still being told. From the music, from the culture.
The music scene is so iconic.
Yeah, and from the culture, from that, people don't want to give us credit, but Black people, we are music. From everything that is made today, we are the rhythm, we are the beat, we are the blues, we are the rock and roll, we are the country. And that was showed, and of course, people's like, okay, how you do something so much in people's face, it's like, okay, I'm getting tired of it. Can we think of something new? And that's how it is.
Yeah, and I think I remember 12 Years a Slave was up for all kind of Oscars, but it had some white saviors in it. And it also showed Black people being inferior. Even though he was smart, even though he could play the violin, even though he could read, he was still a slave.
Right.
I remember they had that Ted Turner movie. Was it Nat Turner movie that came out?
Birth of a Nation.
At the same time, the same week, they had the white savior movie regarding the same thing. So it kind of overlapped each other. They were like, no, we don't want people to know about Nat Turner.
Yeah. Hey, Scuff Shane.
But that is par for the course with a lot of our heroes, regardless of space, pioneers, if you will, the first Black person to do anything. They always have to put in a white character to show that, hey, not all white people were bad, but it's like, okay, you don't need to highlight the white person who, may have lent a helping hand, who spoke up when others didn't. It's not important to highlight that white character if this movie is about how this Black person overcame the era that they lived in because of racial injustice.
Even in Black Panther, they gave the agent, Ross, I forget his name, they gave him his moment when he was flying the virtual plane or whatever. They gave him a moment so he could be a savior in that moment. Even though he's not a savior for the movie, there was something there for white America to feel like, that's me. I'm the one. I would be the one that would be helping, the people. Right. Even though most of them probably.
That's the moment say, I'm a helper. See, that's me.
No. Yeah. They got nobody like that in Sinners.
Right.
But also, so here's my charge to the rest of us. I haven't heard Ryan Coogler complain about not getting nominated for anything. He ain't said a word about it. I think
because he knows the industry he's working in. He know his movie was gonna come up in the chopping block once the award seasons came, and he would be snubbed because X, Y, and Z. On top of the fact that he refuses to make a sequel, prequel, anything else about the movie.
That part.
It's one and done. What's up?
Because I think they really got upset with him because he won't make a sequel. I say you really don't need a sequel to it, and and
everybody in the movie is dead. We know how it ends.
Right.
But they just want a sequel so bad because it did so well in the box office. And Ryan Coogler, he said, I'm pretty sure he really didn't care, but he said, I bet y'all know my name now, and I'm not doing it for y'all. I'm doing it for the Black community because it's about time we have something. Same way with Jordan Peele. All his movies get nominated, but they'll never win nothing. But he know what he's doing it for, and he knows it's going to take him farther because it's for Black America. Even though sometimes we don't understand what Jordan Peele be talking about in the movies. But still.
I love Jordan Peele. That boy ain't right, but I love him to death.
He's for all the nerds.
He is.
But see, here's the other thing with Sinners that we haven't talked about yet, and I think this is the part that's got the Academy and white America so up in arms. Remember the deal Ryan Coogler got for making this movie as far as the rights he retains from this film.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so that caused a lot of outcry and backlash because you have white America up in arms like, well, why does he get this deal for this film? Like, why does he get to own the rights and, 20 years down the line, reverts back to his family and da-da-da. I'm like, this is no different than what Scorsese gets or
Tarantino. Yeah.
Tarantino or who's the knucklehead who released another Avatar film because they all suck, in my opinion.
James Cameron.
Cameron.
you. They are so dry. But go ahead.
Yeah.
They are. It's Fern Gully.
I'm sorry.
And they keep doing it over and over and over. We don't need it.
Right. I love whatever's wrong with Jordan Peele. Yeah. Avatar is just Dances with Wolves in space
with giant Smurfs.
with giant Smurfs.
It's Fern Gully live action.
Who did it? The cartoon with Cartman. South Park. South Park did that. They were making fun of Avatar, and they went through the Smurfs to Dances with Wolves to Avatar, and Cartman was mad because his idea got stolen. But anyway, I think that we, as Black people in the United States, are more upset about sinners getting snubbed for awards than anybody that helped make that movie. Because I don't think they made the movie. I don't think Ryan's goal was to have something that got critical acclaim, because we knew he wouldn't. And that brings me to my next question. Do we care?
No.
I don't.
Okay.
Long as I see something like we go back to the representation. Long as I see something, a Black person not being a thug, not being hanged, not being on death row, not being
a slave,
not being a slave, something like that. If we got somebody being positive, being an aspect in the sci-fi world, I'm always happy because, like me, I know all of us on this panel, we get tired of seeing that stuff. It's like, okay, we know our history, we know it, we talk about it, but let us try something else. Let us be Star Trek. Let us be in Star Wars. Something like that. Be different. And I think Ryan and Jordan Peele, they doing it.
They're doing it, and they're making.
I appreciate Jordan Peele so much because he doesn't emphasize it's black, it's black, it's black. It's just like, here's this reality. Here we go. And it's like, thank you.
Jordan Peele, we know Jordan Peele coming because we saw him from Saturday Night Live to Jordan K. and Peele to now what he's doing. Oh, we already know the references alone in his movie is gonna be like, damn, you could tell he Black because how would he know?
I'm so happy you brought up Star Trek because this kind of parallels what happened with Star Trek Discovery and then why it wasn't brought back for another season, all because Michael Burnham is a captain and she actually earned her spot in that chair, and nobody white can handle a Black woman leading a starship in the future in a fictional TV show. And now I can't have my favorite show
because it went 3 seasons, I think.
I thought it was like 4 or 5 seasons.
I think, 4, either 4 or 5. Yeah,
either 4 or 5. Okay, I was a little behind.
But like traditionally, like all of them get like at least 7. You know, your
Enterprise got 5.
That's different. That was a failure.
Now that brings up another point. What constitutes failure? I think the bar is a lot higher for vehicles that have a Black person as the main character or the main impetus focus. How many records do you have to break before you get recognition? Robert, that's exactly what I was going for when I said, do we care? Break what records and why? And why do we care about breaking their records when we can make our own? Why do we care about their recognition when we can be financially successful? I mean, Sinners gross more than I think any horror movie outside of maybe Jaws or something like it. The numbers were great. It's not going to be surpassed without Hollywood's support, etc. So he's making money. He's getting his bag. He's sought after. And some people might say, well, what about the recognition for the actors? They weren't going to get recognized no way because nobody was putting them in places to be recognized. Delroy Lindo gave the performance of a lifetime in a span of 27 seconds, right? And most people will not see it. Well, every scene, true, but most people will not see it because they're like, well, that's a Black movie. I'm not going to go see it. Okay, fine. However, Black America was in love with Delroy Lindo for that scene, as well as the rest of the cast, right?
The cast is recognizable already for the most part.
Michael B. Jordan had to play 2 people. He had to change his character. Then, like, you got to give him some credit. He had to be Smoke, which was the serious army fatigue, violent. Yes sir, no sir, violent type. Where Stack was more the party guy. That's like multiple. That's like personalities. You had to switch just like that. That's not.
They said he was different when he was on set too. Like when he would come in to smoke, he didn't really talk to nobody. He kept to himself. When he came on the Stack, he was the life of the party. And I mean, he's not the first person to play twins.
Right.
But he absolutely did an amazing job. And who was that for? This is what I'm getting at. Like, we love Michael B. Jordan. I love almost everything he's been in. I can't except for that Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four?
Yes, that was
Nah, I love the Fantastic Four film because to put white folk in their feelings like, how dare you make Johnny Storm black?
right. They was hot.
That's why I love that film.
Hey,
If
I ain't gonna lie.
I love that film because
it's the only
they
redeeming
made it.
quality.
Hey, even I was kind of like, okay, Marvel, y'all, y'all
The
pushing
movie's
that.
trash. Not gonna lie, the movie sucks.
The movie
but
is
still,
trash. But my
I love
point
it
is, Michael B.
because it puts them
Jordan,
in a tizzy.
when we talk about recognition, who was winning an Oscar and getting a lot of play out of it, or even being Oscar nominated? You know, and maybe Angela Bassett, and she's on daytime. Oh, she's on TV, right? She's not really doing movies. You got Halle Berry, who is now she's out here pimping menopause medicine. I haven't seen her on screen in a long time. Denzel has just went and got the bag. Like, Denzel's been out here playing in people's faces and having fun and making money. And he's probably the only one that I think, quote unquote, white America loves the way we love him. But even
I wouldn't
when
say love, they accept him as being a top actor. Like, he's the only one they accept.
Yeah. And generally speaking, when you're dealing with white supremacy, there can only be one of every other race. You know, maybe one for each gender, but that's about it. And so when we think about all of our beloved Black actors, you know, they are for us. They are ours. You know, and the recognition, you know, we recognize them. We are absolutely trying our best to, hey, Dana, you look different.
Oh my God! Good evening, everyone. I apologize for being late. I had to deal with the 3D printer emergency. It's
it's okay. CPT time. We here.
I,
that'll do it.
We were running off. We were running off into a rabbit hole. So let's take a moment.
I've been printing for 12 hours. I'm just like.
Let's take a moment to introduce the last folks that just come on screen. And so we'll start with is it Tafari?
Tafari.
Tafari, how are you?
I'm good. My bad. I was on uncle duty, so I'm here now.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Oh, I mean, are we giving a whole background here? Just
not a whole background. Who are you? What do you do? How do people find you? That kind of thing.
Look, man, I just be everywhere doing a little bit of everything. Editing, podcasting, streaming, gaming, interviews, you name it, I've probably done it. So
okay.
And now I'm here.
Okay. And Dana.
Hey everybody, good evening. Happy New Year to stream and to our chat audience. My name is Dana Holmes. I am a cosplayer, a gamer, a foodie, and a world traveler. So I run a blog. I'm starting my Brothers That Brunch blog back up again after COVID. So you asked our other Dana, she'll tell you I travel to eat.
Well, that sounds like a dream.
That does sound like a dream.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Travel to eat. Oh,
nice. So
I have new goals now. Thank you.
Somebody commented, who is your favorite Black sci-fi character?
Actor.
So, or actor. So yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you say? Anybody?
Ooh.
Go ahead.
I have a new one. So Starfleet Academy just dropped last week, and there's a character in there. I can't remember her name, but I will know her name by the end of the night. She plays a character named Sam, who's a photonic, which if you're into Star Trek, you know photonics are like holograms, like the medical emergency hologram from Voyager, which is one of my favorite seasons. She stole the show. As soon as she got on screen, she stole the show. Love her to death. She's playing a 17-year-old Black girl, little pigtails. Love her. Like, her energy is so hyper, and it's like the franchise needed her to be there and just suck all the energy. They even call out in this second episode, and one of the background characters like, "Hey, can you chill?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Yes, that's my favorite character." So yeah, I love her.
Okay.
I would like to piggyback off of Mark, keeping within the Star Trek universe. My favorite Black sci-fi character is the best captain ever. Captain Benjamin Sisko, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Hands down.
That's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Props to anybody who punches Q in the face upon meeting him
yes,
after 5 minutes.
yes, and who's on site with their beloved Jean-Luc Picard on site. I will not going to let you forget what you did to my wife. Oh no.
No, we never letting that go.
Nope.
What about Skip? What about you?
I'm gonna have to say, y'all gonna find this cliche, but I'm gonna say it. Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
But in what?
Shoot. We got Pulp Fiction. We got Snakes on the Plane. We got what's that movie? He was a shark ate him. Was that Jaws? That wasn't Jaws, was it?
Deep
Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. Yeah. Then we got Star Wars. And then we got Marvel. So yeah, I kind of like Samuel L. Jackson in the sci-fi world.
Okay. Supreme Attorney, what about you?
I think I like more fantasy than sci-fi.
Go ahead.
So even though you guys were talking about it, I still like Aaliyah in Queen of the Dam.
Okay.
Because that was the first Black vampire I've ever seen. And I've always wanted to know what it was like if a vampire was Black. Like, how would that work?
You've never seen Vampire in Brooklyn?
She might be too young for that.
I think
I have seen
Queen of
Vampire in
the I think
Brooklyn.
Queen of the Dam came out like before Vampire in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it did.
Yeah, because it was three. It was Queen of the Dam, Vampire in Brooklyn, and then Blade. It was like it's like 3 years in a row of Black vampires. It was amazing back in the late 90s.
Right.
Queen of the Dam was 2002.
Was it?
Really?
Yep.
And
When
I
was-
also liked what was my favorite? Spawn.
Vampire in Brooklyn was 95.
Yeah.
Vampire Brooklyn was. I thought it was older. Yeah, Vampire Brooklyn was 95.
So Eddie Murphy was the first vampire. Then
So-
came Aaliyah.
No,
Well-
then came Blade. Blade was
That's
90,
always
97.
First Black
97.
vampire. If we really
Okay.
want to take that.
Blackula was technically.
Yeah.
I had never seen Blackula.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up well, but
It's a
is
treat. Blade is 98.
98. Yep.
Okay, I like Blade too.
Ooh, shit, not it.
But I liked Aaliyah as Queen Akasha. That was everything for me to see
yeah,
her. And she was so regal, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
My
my-
sister
it's giving
loved
him
that
Manga.
movie. My sister loved Queen of the Dam growing up.
Right? Because it was giving. Because Iman in Remember the Time was giving me life, and then to see Aaliyah embodying it in a movie, I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
So, Supreme Attorney, are you excited for Sheila Atom as the new Akasha in the series?
Wait, what now?
Sheila Atom. She's been cast as Akasha for the AMC series Interview with the Vampire. So she's coming up in the next season.
Her name is Avery. What?
Sheila Atom. Sheila
Oh, I missed out
Atom.
all the way up.
Yeah, she is. She's 6 foot even. She's tall, dark skinned. Yes, it is. She's amazing. She is amazing. I will link it in. I will link the Black Girls Nerd post in chat. Cool.
Oh, she's like
There she goes.
a younger Grace Jones.
Yes, yes, very statuesque.
Okay.
That's gonna
Dark
be
skin.
good.
She's dark. I just love it. Love it.
Tafari, we didn't get a chance to hear your favorite actor.
If we're going sci-fi, just because I kind of grew up with it, probably Will Smith and Men in Black.
Okay.
Although I haven't watched, I've checked out a couple episodes, but I haven't watched like the full thing. But like Jay Lee, I think is doing his thing in the Orville as well. For like a more recent actor.
Okay.
I could have said Peter Macon.
You can still say it. Go ahead.
So Tafari like to slap people. That's why he like Will Smith.
I'm just saying, you know, if you got a Will Smith with a Will Smith movie, you was gonna get the movie, and then at the end of the tape, you was gonna get the whatever music video that
You gonna get a
in there.
music video.
So, you got the Men in Black, and then if you watch Wild Wild West, you got something in there.
Yep.
I still play that.
I do like
Wow,
Wild
West
Wild
Side
West.
Jams. Okay.
What up, CJ?
CJ, welcome. We're jumping into your favorite Black sci-fi actor and sci-fi or fantasy actor.
Ooh, favorite Black sci-fi or fantasy actor. I'm gonna say honorary mention will probably be Mario Van Peebles.
Ooh, good
He did
choice.
2 of them. He did 2 of them. He did one solo where he played like a cyborg,
Mhm.
and then there was another one I think where he was like a cop in L.A. with wolves, like a werewolf movie. Trying to remember what it was called, but like just those 2 alone kind of stick out to me. So
I vaguely remember.
Where was he a cyborg?
yeah, so the solo one was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, Solo was
but-
a solid film.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
it's called Solo?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's called Solo.
I remember that
Black one is
movie.
definitely,
Yes.
but definitely Avery Jones. I think I got it right.
Me add that.
Yeah,
to
Cisco
my
from
list.
D Space Nine.
Avery Brooks.
Avery Brooks.
Avery Brooks. Yeah, I don't know why I say Avery Jones. Avery Brooks.
Yes.
Yeah, he's definitely my favorite.
That's 2.
So for me, this may or may not qualify.
Full
But
Eclipse.
at
Hold
the
on.
time-
Full
say what?
Eclipse is the werewolf movie that Mario Van Peebles did.
Yeah, Full Eclipse. Yeah.
So this may or may not qualify because she's actually Afro-Latina, but I claim her because I didn't know that at the time. Gina Torres.
Yes.
Favorite
Cleopatra.
No,
Cleopatra, was it 2035? 2040?
no, Firefly.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Zoe
Yeah.
Washburn.
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was, but I watched that show for her for the first 2 episodes before I started liking the rest of the cast and everything. And so for me, and I love the show Firefly. I was sad when they took it off. And yeah, so she's like one of my first girl crushes too.
Oh, somebody say David. Yeah, you right about that. Yeah.
He was in the original thing back in what 1983 or 84?
No, that was 1970s.
70.
Really?
Yeah, that was
Really?
77,
man.
I think. Yeah, 77, I think.
Time
wow.
out. So The Last Dragon, you know what? Just so we were just talking about Sinners being a movie for us. The Last Dragon, also critically panned. They said it was trash. It was a movie Barry Gordy put on like he out of his own pocket. It was a Motown movie. Vanity was in it.
That was the first black Super Saiyan I ever saw.
I can always appreciate like certain movies over time, you know, their quality. Like, but I've always felt like we're missing. Like Michael Jai White shouldn't be the only black dude that should be on the black action movie front right now. And I'm like really feeling like there's no like young black upstart that could also do Michael Jai White stuff that can be like out there.
Caleb McLaughlin is trying to look like he's trying to do a little something. I'm not sure what he's up to, but we keep seeing these videos of him like practicing martial arts flips and whatnot. Some people think it might be a Miles Morales live action grab, but it could be something completely different.
But that's what made Last Dragon to me stand out, because if you think of that time, T-Mac is like in his early 20s, Vanity in her early 20s, and that was like, oh, we getting a young black dude that's like past Black Belt Jones and all that. It's like, all right, cool. So I kind of miss that. If we can at least get something close to that now, that would be kind of great. Which is probably why Black Panther blew up the way it did, because it was like, oh shit, finally, like
finally that part.
Yeah, it's like finally, which is weird because look, I ain't a big fan of the movie. When they did that Superfly remake, in a weird way, I enjoyed it because I was like, you know what, it's a stupid movie. But I can appreciate.
They have to make the up-to-date version. So
I can appreciate the young black acting that's here. It's crazy, it's dumb, but I can appreciate that. Like, I just need more of that. Maybe that's probably why people like the Tubi stuff so much. I gotta like really look into that.
I don't know if I can rock with all of Tubi.
Yeah,
I have seen a couple things on there that were good. Really speaking, just the clips I see from Tubi, like what is really happening over there? Like,
I love Tubi.
Joy, did you see the Grinch?
Black Lifetime.
Did you see the Grinch?
Black Lifetime.
The Black.
It is because like the scripts are like they're good, but the acting is subpar and they don't have a budget. But it's good. I love Tubi.
I agree. It's a place for independent black cinema. It is a place, even though it's owned by Fox. It's a place for independent black cinema.
I love the action. I love the action parts when they do it. When they get like a fan and they actually hit you, then they show you like the side effects, like how they turn. I was like, yeah, I love that.
What was that movie? The doll. Which one was it? The doll. I'm looking it up right now. Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
As someone who has worked on Tubi movies with productions that have zero to little budget, the work that they have been able to pull off in some of these movies is insane with the limitations and resources that go hand. Side note, if anyone's interested in seeing what I've worked on, The Last Sex Tape, my whole apartment is in that.
The last sex tape.
I didn't write it.
Like, wait a minute, what?
Wait, I thought I was tricked.
No, I'm sorry. The lost sex tape. The lost sex tape. No disrespect.
Who found it?
Sex party. Don't ask. I didn't write none of
Wait,
it.
is this
What is this?
So
Is the movies you're doing?
Is this happening right now?
I didn't-
After dark one, sir.
A stream guard from the bad eyes.
I didn't write the scripts. I didn't name.
I'm too
any
young
of
for
the
this
projects.
conversation.
So the lost one is the one he worked on, and the last one is the sequel that he just accidentally leaked in front of everybody here. So
I mean, Tafari just did the blink meme immediately when he was there. Like, wait a minute, what?
Tafari. Yeah. This whole thing just took a turn. So let's get it back.
Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
Being black in nerdy spaces. So I want to get back. So actually, a lot of the stuff we talked about is not always just about, how we're being represented. I think that discussion was good. Sometimes it's how does science fiction, how does fantasy, how does anime, how does it land with you? Because very often we're not the audience for, let's just say, let me pick something.
Any of it?
Apothecary Diaries. Yeah, we're not necessarily somebody they're thinking of. I do think that I'm seeing more often, as with Gachi Yakuta, that we are at least being considered as a part of the world. There's a couple of black characters that very, very much present black in Gachi Yakuta. And I'm not going to give them a pass, but I am going to say financially, I understand why it hasn't been a focus for media coming out of Japan, because who? Japan was doing stuff for Japanese people. And the West went and said, that's cool. I want to see that. And so they ported it over here. Why would they put different races in their stuff? And what I also like is sometimes when you do see white folks in Japanese cartoons or whatever, they're the villain, which is just great for me.
Mm-hmm.
But,
stereotypical white American.
Yeah.
Or if you play the Yakuza games, they play them off as very buffoonish American.
Yes.
Which also isn't wrong.
No, it's not.
I mean, yeah.
But like when you watch, like I remember, you know what? I'm gonna come to America real quick. Wicked. I remember reading the book Wicked 20 years ago, whenever it came out, and immediately upon seeing, as they were talking about animal rights, et cetera, and seeing that they capitalized the A in animal to represent the animals that could speak and had a voice and, taught class and whatever, that capitalized A to promote treating them like, human beings, or treating them like sentient, feeling entities. That resonated with me, because the minute I saw that, I was like, oh, that's like how we capitalize black. Mm-hmm. And so I find it really weird and stupid that people are like, why is the play so woke? Why is the movie so woke? Like, did you read the book? Because they toned it down a whole lot.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes,
they did tone it down, but no, they didn't read the book. They didn't see the play.
No, of course. Why? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because again, the play is a musical, and you have to remember that. Not to get off track, but just briefly, certain forms of media entertainment, visual media entertainment, are, I won't say taboo, but they're not widely accepted. Plays, specifically theater, stage plays, is not something that's why it is still in this day, 2026, a niche thing to be interested in. It is not a widely like, hey, here's this play, like outside of like Broadway plays that have been going on for like 20 some odd years, like your Cats and Rent or whatever have you, that get advertisement every now and then whenever their new season starts. You don't see anything like that on television, like as far as ads or anything like that. You may get the occasional, what just came through Atlanta for the holiday season, Shinyu. Yeah. Or Shinyu, the Chinese production that comes through every year of Christmas, like that gets advertisement. But any other time, whatever's going on at the Fox Theater, you don't know about it unless you're actually into those arts. So, when plays are adapted into film and people rage against it as being woke, it's like, okay, you never watched the play. And to your point, Joy, you've never read the book the play is based off of.
Right. And the film adaptation wasn't that far off from the play. It's just the fact that Elphaba was black underneath that green paint. And that threw everything off of them, because they even in green paint, they cannot imagine themselves being someone that a Black person would play, which to segue into my next question is why they get so aggravated when they see Black people doing cosplay of a character that doesn't present as Black on screen or on the pages. And for two different things. So specifically for Black female cosplayers, I had this discussion with a couple of guys like a couple months ago, and it was like a head exploding moment, because they said the reason there's so many incels and whatnot get all upset that a Black woman is playing one of their characters is because they fantasize about having relations with that character. And then when a Black woman comes out and that cognitive dissonance hits, like, well, but I don't want to have sex with a Black woman, but the Black woman is a character and she still looks good and she's not supposed to look good because I don't like Black women, but she's fine. And get out of that costume.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to have that on, right? Because it makes
Nada isn't Black.
I have a question for everybody since we're kind of talking about this. Does anyone find it weird when Black people specifically are cast as like aliens in sci-fi and fantasy things? Like, I've noticed, like,
we do Klingons Black.
We're like, we're like green or pink or purple. We're never Black, but we're represented as a different color other than Black in a lot of the sci-fi things, like in Star Trek, like in the Orville, like the Markland species. That whole planet is nothing but Black people in like rough alien skin,
like the Klingons, basically.
The Klingons,
Klingons is Black people.
Well,
I think a lot of that is like, I think at least for me, like the 80s and 90s was definitely heavy on that sci-fi. Like I think back to like Luke Gossett Jr. Jesus, I'm like old as hell saying this, but
him and Dennis
Enemy Mine.
Yeah, Enemy Mine. I feel saying that. But like you see that and you're like, all right, cool, which is weird because I watched the show Alien Nation, same setup. There's certain Black folks that they had in the and it was kind of like, all right, cool, I guess, even though it's LA in the 80s and 90s, there were Black people there, but I guess sure, and it just felt like once it hit like the 2000s, it got a little bit better because they didn't like default to just, oh, it's Black people in there. It's like, oh, it's other ethnicities. But I'm like, this is even worse because it's like now instead of it just being Black, and it's like, oh, we have a Latin person, but he's under the alien makeup, so the alien is Latin coded, and it's gotten a little bit better, but it should be just kind of fluid to where you just do it, and it's like, all right, cool, but it doesn't have to be just a Black character,
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to be just a Black character. And we were actually talking about that the other day. There's an anime coming out sometime soon called Black Lion and Cubs, and it's written, produced by Morehouse graduate, and it's about African king. I'm not sure if the world is our world or if it's a different world. So that's what I just say, like African king and his two sons, right? The Black Lion and the Cubs, and it's family friendly. It's all that kind of stuff. But you won't hear anything about it. He's having to do all the production and all of the promos and stuff all by himself. And when we make something that is for us, because people are like, why don't you do your own thing? Okay, so we made this animation. Stop trying to be like anime. Well, how else am I supposed to put a cartoon on screen if I don't animate it? That is animated pictures. It's what it is. So it's not necessarily trying to be, an anime, but that's the name that we've kind of slapped on everything that is a cartoon that is not specifically like elementary school coded, right?
Like the WB or the Looney Tunes kind of stuff. Because I mean, and to be honest, I think that's where we're at right now, where like I think the Castlevania show went the way it went, because it's not anime clearly, but it's anime inspired and stuff.
Right.
That's when you started people trying to redefine what anime is. I'm like, well, you can't really redefine anime, but you can say, hey, we were anime inspired with what we did, and it's fine.
Or it's just an animated show.
Yeah. You're inspired by it and stuff, but
Afro Samurai.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a beautiful story. Boondocks.
Yeah.
The Boondocks is heavily. Aaron Magruder has said that even just his art style and drawing the comic strip before we even got the animated show, heavily inspired by anime he watched growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
And you
what
can see the
it's
scene
gonna
by
be.
scene too that they always put together.
Mhm.
Yeah, you see it. It's like, wow, okay.
And I think though, wherever black people touch, we always put that special spice and sauce on it. And
Yeah.
if we, cause I forgot what show it was, but he told this woman like, you got to be 10 times better as them. So as black people, we always got to go 10 times harder than anybody else that's making something for the black culture. So he wanted to stand out, wanted to be different, and that's what everything that we do in this country.
But
And
it's kind
I
of weird.
think that goes back to the thing about like the awards and everything. You got to be 10 times better, or the old phrase, you got to be twice as good to get half as much.
Half as much. Yeah.
But let's stop waiting for their recognition and their, awards and all that kind of stuff. This is why we had the Source Awards and the BET Awards and the NAACP Awards, because we got tired of them ignoring us and overlooking us. So like, you know what? We're going to give out these Image Awards because we appreciate y'all. Now I'm not going to talk about the Source Awards and how that kind of went downhill over time.
I mean, look, it was
Source
a time.
Awards, man.
but it was still ours though.
It's still ours.
It's ours.
It
Come
was
on now. Let's
ours.
not-
Better or for worse, it was ours.
Let's not get respectability.
Oh yeah.
Right,
The Source
you're
Awards
right.
was- it
You're
was-
right about
hey, the
that.
Source Awards, the Soul Train Awards. It was like a diverse, like, all right, you know who's
Yep.
going to
The
be
BET
here,
Awards.
or
Yep.
who's going to be here. All right, cool. Like,
Let's talk about BET for a moment, because I remember when BET, before 106 in Park, they had like a Teen Summit on there, and then you had the one guy with Video Soul.
Remember Sita?
Simpson. Yeah.
What was it?
Donnie
Remember
Simpson.
Sita? Remember Sita? The
Sita, yeah,
hologram?
yeah, the
Yes,
little-
the
the
VR
little-
girl. Yes.
Yeah.
And but if you think about the timing, MTV was the music television show, right? It was all 24/7 music television, and they
Music
really
videos,
didn't
yeah.
show a lot of black stuff. Matter of fact, I remember watching it wasn't Billy Idol.
David Bowie.
David Bowie.
David Bowie.
The video just surfaced a little while ago. David Bowie, like, how come y'all don't be showing black stuff on here? And they were like, well, because we got to think about what the Midwest wants to see. He's like, you think they don't want to see that? But anyway, BET hits the scene. And immediately black people stop watching MTV. Like, if you think about it, because like I'm 51 and I think about how I knew Duran Duran and Flock of Seagulls and Culture Club and all this other stuff. And then one day I just stopped listening to that because BET was on, and I'm watching New Edition and I'm watching Troop, and they had like a rap show, right? And the loss of that audience from the MTV world into BET encouraged MTV to come up with Yo MTV Raps, because they wanted to get us back. But Yo MTV Raps was how white folks discovered rap music.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
but Joy, conversely, that happened when quote unquote urban radio stations became more prevalent throughout the country. You know, you guys, we had like, Hot 97, 105.3. I'm from New York, so
all the black radio stations going to be somewhere between like 97 and 103.
Okay, yeah.
Everywhere.
I mean, that is. I mean, like BET was at its apex during that. Like that was when every black anything was at its apex.
We used to watch the news, the BET.
BET News.
Oh my God, that was
like,
amazing.
Nightly news
there,
on BET,
yes.
Like you had the Vibe. Vibe had their own show on top of the magazine briefly and stuff. Like that was a time.
It was.
Especially when BET was in this area. When BET was in the DC area. And stuff,
Yes, it was.
Like,
they had a whole studio in DC.
Yeah, the headquarters is in DC. In DC because
Largo
early '90s with Team Summit. A lot of kids that I went to high school with would go down there hoping to get onto the show.
Oh yeah, it was a long. I used to live in Largo, but like that space over there, like there was always people lined up. On Teen Summit, or if there was like a very like special guest on that show, it's like, oh, everybody's here for who? It's like, oh. Makes sense.
And before that, there was Soul Train, right?
That too.
Yes, on regular TV, Soul Train, Saturdays.
Yep, Saturday morning. Didn't miss it. But I want to scroll back through some of the comments over here, because there's been a whole conversation going on that we have missed out on. They were talking about some of the stuff. Inferne Girl 08. Side note, sorry if I mispronounced that, but I think where black nerds or those in adjacent fandoms would thrive is That is not the comment that I was looking for.
Sorry.
I was like, well, wait, what?
Yeah. Scroll
this
back
one.
up a little bit. That one, yeah.
This
I
one.
think where Black nerds or those in adjacent fans would thrive is truly learning how to search and discover new Black media that they like. And they've got a point. Like, we will scroll through Crunchyroll looking for what's up, what's new, maybe on some of the forums and everything, looking at what new anime is coming out. But are we really searching? Are we searching for new Black stuff? Are we looking for it? Possibly we don't even realize it's something we could look for. But
I think it's an algorithm thing where, like, if I think back to like how I discovered stuff, it was just a mix of like, all right, I'll watch this anime, and then like you just get curious on what else is out there, and then eventually you join like a message board, and everybody else talking about this anime, and you just kind of just discover it down the pipeline, and now it's based on an algorithm that's just telling you, okay, you like this anime, check out this, but you miss out on the other ones because it doesn't fit that criteria of whatever the algorithm is dictating out. So it's that stuff alongside there. I mean, if you do a Google search, you're kind of at the mercy of the algorithm on Google search now, which sucks. So you miss out on all the good stuff.
And some stuff does get suppressed, I think about like my algorithm 3 years ago was action movies and Marvel and some more stuff. And now if I go to YouTube, the entire first row of YouTube is K-pop, because that's what I got into less than a year ago. I watched enough of it to where it's like, well, if you like that, you like this. And now here I am 3 groups later, trying to figure it out. But same thing with Netflix and Amazon. If you watch this, because you watch this, here's some more things. And I remember watching Intergalactic. Did y'all see that cartoon?
What, the Daft Punk one?
It was
the romance.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking
movie.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. The Kid Cudi project.
Oh yeah, I'm getting them mixed up.
I did like that one. That was a really good one.
Yeah, that went nowhere I was expecting it to because of the name, but I'm like, I was very much invested in whatever's going on with it.
And the soundtrack was
wonderful.
Yeah, the other one. I was thinking of the Daft. Yeah, I was thinking of the Daft Punk one. So you said that now, I'm like, oh, Kid Cudi. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was
my
good.
thing is with that because, like you said, for like, how many Black comic book writers, Black anime writers that we know on this panel? How many roughly can we say we know?
Personally, or just know of?
Just know of.
At least 10.
5,
dozens,
maybe 10.
Yeah.
So my thing is though,
about a smooth dozen.
But sometimes
there might be some interlapping a little bit in all of us.
But sometimes though, we could be our own worst enemy at sometimes, because, like, for example, I know y'all remember the anime Cannon Busters.
Yes.
I mean, that was like a first Black anime. People watched it, but us, we destroyed it. We didn't like it. The story didn't make sense, and whoever that person was stopped making it. Then we came with
I think there was some behind the scenes with Cannon Busters.
Yeah, it was the behind the scenes.
It was some financial stuff. Yeah,
okay.
And it was he did I'll link it. Go ahead.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. And then we have the what was that? The Black Samurai anime.
Oh, Yasuke.
Yasuke.
I didn't hate it, but y'all could have told me more up front, like what that, like they were using Yasuke name and the person, and that was it. I went in there, it's like I didn't hate it.
That's what it was. I think with that one, because I think
it's the name.
Yeah, I think it's less. Because I know what you're getting at, because it is kind of like it's that thing of you want to go in that balance of you're being objectively critical of something, but then you don't have to like go like digging the knife deeper, because it's like, whoa, dude, chill. Like it ain't like, because people were kind of going a little hard depending on Yasuke. And I'm like, guys, if it's mid, just say that. You don't have to like.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I mean,
it's like, come on, man.
I dropped it.
I thought we were getting Yasuke the anime, and it was just Yasuke and
escorts this little girl everywhere.
It was Yasuke in his era of like Full Metal Alchemist. Like we got chimeras and robots and
they took his hair and just made it completely supernatural. Absolutely.
Yeah, here's the thing, like that didn't bug me or anything, because it's like you watch anime, that's literally par for the course of anime. Like it's going to start off normal, and then all of a sudden, boom, here's the weird stuff.
It just go with it.
I realized in all the marketing, there's nothing that lets you know what you're walking into up front. You just get like the name and what is the dude's name?
Keith Stanfield.
Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield, and that's it. And that's all I knew going in there.
Because that threw me for a loop. I was like, you samurai, but you fighting robots and you fighting demons and ghosts. Like, what? Damn, what?
Well, it's like, but the best marketing though, and that's if you want to go the opposite way, and it wasn't even black, Ninja Kamu. That is a show when they marketed it, right? You're like, all right, ninjas, very, okay, cool, right? And then like episode 2 or 3, he's fighting like mech suit dudes. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, was that the one? Was that the show on Adult Swim?
Yeah, Adult Swim.
Yes.
Everybody was hooked for like 5 episodes, and after that,
and it's like we're done later.
And then when they got the next dude, I was like, I'm fine with this. This is prototypical of any anime. It's going to be something crazy here. I guess y'all guys are new to this. Cool.
I do want. Hey, Mal, good to see you, my friend. And I know you've been here for a minute. I just want to say hey again. But put up the next comment by Kid to the Crazy X.
This one?
Yes. I hate how I sound saying this as a black fan, but like I think most black fandoms like saying I want a black show more than they actually want black shows sometimes. I think there is some truth to this, but not for the surface reason of I said I want this, but now I don't know what I want. And I had this conversation again, because I'm gonna talk about this stuff forever. I had this conversation when The Lion King came out. So that's been what, 25 years?
More.
More. Kid to the Crazy X. Okay, thank you for telling me how to pronounce it. Kid to the Crazy X. But when The Lion King came out, there was this discussion about how come they don't ever just do a black princess or an African princess with Disney. And I was like, cuz y'all don't know what y'all want. And we kept talking about it. I was like, because she can't be light-skinned because y'all gonna be mad. She can't be dark-skinned because they're not gonna get it right. She can't have thick lips because they're gonna be too thick. And if they're thin, well, she looks like a white girl. There was no way to please us as a whole that they was gonna universally like it. We didn't even like that Shuri is actually a British actress. Like we got problems with everything, and a lot of that is internalized self-hate. A lot of us are still trying to decolonize our minds. Then there's the colorism with everything. Some people thought Princess Tiana was too brown to be in Louisiana. Other people thought that she needed to be brown to represent. And why was she the only one that had a boyfriend or a love interest that ain't had no job? Like, what's really going on here? We're never satisfied because we don't know what we want.
That is true. And then here's my thing. I'm gonna ask y'all this question.
Malachi, I see you, Malachi.
As anime lovers, sci-fi lovers, what would satisfy us as black people to see something? What would satisfy us? Like, what would be that one thing?
It goes to what Joy was saying. It's the aspect of finding those people that
we want everything to be wanted to be perfect. There's
I think
no such thing as a perfect,
but here's
show,
the thing.
anime.
I think low key, because of we're kind of in a weird way a slave to algorithms and stuff to a degree. With all the resources that people have, there are a lot of people already doing their own anime projects and putting it out on YouTube or whatever other avenues it's there. So it's more so like it's already there. But I think the other point is I think people are wanting these major media corporations to capitulate. And I'm like, they're not under any obligations to capitulate. It's not on purpose. It's just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, you can't expect them to sit there and just switch up automatically because they have a business and if they're not trying to slight people. I don't personally think there is. Maybe they are. I don't know. But like that's what it
driven
is.
by a profit model.
Yeah. So all the things that we want is running up against the other, and it's like, well, just look at what's already out there and just build off that.
Right. There's a reason that Princess Tiana is a fraud for most of that movie, because a lot of the faces that you make when you're a cartoon character, whatever, oh no, was going to look real coonish to us if they did that with her face as a black woman. And so we'll just make her a fraud the whole time. And then she gets to be, matter of fact, she's also the only one that has a job. But, we'll get, she's a whole entrepreneur. The rest of them just sitting around getting murdered by Prince Charming. Think about it. Prince Charming married like 3 times. Where are the women at? But anyway, I think that we still struggle with that. Like, what do we want to see? And we are so varied and we are so dynamic that it's hard to represent all of us at once on one screen.
Ross, I disagree with this. The storyline for Korra was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
People still wanted Aang and couldn't let go of having something different
But also, she was a
And the
teenager.
story with Korra is that while Aang had to learn how to grow up quickly, Korra pretty much had to learn balance because she had none. And that's balance within herself and balance of how the world works. There was really nothing wrong with Avatar Korra other than fan hate.
No, I still stand on 10 toes when I say this. The biggest issue that show had was Nickelodeon messing up its.
Well, yeah, Nickelodeon sucked.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
That's the biggest problem because season 1 and season 2 and 3 and 4 are all completely all over the place and different and disconnected. But going back to the whole black people thing, some CJ said corporations are not beholden to make content for us, but we, especially as Americans, are conditioned to expect production value and quality and things like that when we see and consume something, regardless of who makes it. And if it's not that, or if it's not backed by some big publisher or company, we're not going to be interested. And I think the bigger issue is there's just not enough of us making the content that we want to see and consume yet. It's there, but we need more. We need more black creators, artists making Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Magic the Gathering cards and things like that, because some of the depictions of us look really coonish when black people on tabletop card games. So like, I think we just need more of us in these.
Yes, diverse the product a little bit, because it's like we can go on the video and stuff, but like you said, if we have them in different other avenues and stuff, it kind of helps the bigger picture and stuff. So that does make sense.
Well, Mark, this segue that your comments just segued into how corporations aren't beholden to consumers, but yet the black people have almost $2 trillion of buying power in this country. You know, if I was a corporation, I would be like, hey, that's a lot of money. You know, and also anime and cartoons or animated projects are way cheaper to produce than, say, a live action or a movie, or a serialized show to that effect.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Look. If you find, it's like any business.
Yes.
If there's a void, somebody's gonna go to that. You fulfill that void. It's like, oh, money, cool.
I mean, just let's go back to the Tubi conversation we was having earlier. Tubi is the home of independent black cinema. Yes, it may look janky, the acting may be off, the special effects may be, but these directors and producers who make those shows and movies on Tubi, they are funding that with their own money, and they are learning their craft, their trade. They're not like nepo babies, like let's say, the EPs of Game of Thrones,
Yeah, I mean,
they had no experience going in television and making long form serialized drama, but they got one of the most iconic fantasy series in the last 25 years, Game of Thrones, because they were nepo babies. But that's that is here and there, but still, that's how it goes back to how we got to be twice as good to get half of what they But I think who knows from now, 10 years from now, that these same Tubi directors will be directing major multi-billion-dollar franchises. Who knows?
Well, I mean, but that's where it starts, though. I mean, because you look at, like, I remember, like, when Kevin Smith was talking about that, like when he switched over after he did Clerks 2 before he did Red State, and he was talking about, like, really speaking truth to power about the state of the movie industry at that time, and just like how easy it is now for anybody to, like, you have a cell phone, like you're more than capable of using that cell phone to make your movie. Like, the pieces are there, just go for it, and you can learn on the fly. And that's where that starts. There is the creativity of just like, hey, I don't know how to shoot anything. All right, you can learn it on the fly, figure out the ins and outs.
Right. Well, CJ, that just reminded me. Ben Affleck was on a podcast this past weekend, talking about Sinners and how he dropped a nugget about how Netflix make movies. I'm going to link that in I think I was in the chat.
Mello's podcast when he was talking about that.
Yeah, they were talking about Ryan Coogler's deal and how Netflix make movies. He broke it down. I had no idea this their process that they go through, because it's
Can you tell
totally
us the
different.
process? Most everybody else not going to be able to see that link. So just tell us what happened.
Wait, let me pull it up. I'm gonna quote him verbatim. So go ahead.
You don't have to quote him verbatim. Just tell us what happened.
The movies are broken down into three acts. You have acts 1, 2, and 3. Your first act, and so basically it's the big climax. The big climax comes in either the act 2 or act 3, and you act 1 or act 2, or however you want to do it, is what builds up your to this grandiose moment. It's all about one moment in this movie. And that's how it's not like how Hollywood traditionally storyboard their movies, So it was just like it's a grand crescendo, and then it fizzles out. You build all this anticipation, you get it, and then it's like, okay, we're done.
Gotcha.
And so and that's how a lot of these Netflix series get canceled, because they get the grand. We got the thing, yes. Now we're gonna get rid of it. A lot of our favorite shows, like what is it, Warrior Nuns, and other shows that lean heavily, predominantly on people of color. Those shows, like what's it?
I'll never forget
the OA. The OA was one of them, right? And also Altered Carbon. Man, that was my my god, that sci-fi show was good. But anyway,
that was really good. I had to divert to the cartoon after it was over.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's the attention span now of like how to grab people, and I remember that now, I saw the clip. Yeah, it's basically like, instead of, like you said, act 2 and act 3 being your big set piece, they literally asked them for because I watched the new movie The Rip. It's actually really good. But they were like, hey, can you guys just do like a big action set piece in your first act? And they're like, that's kind of unheard of, because he's like, no, we're just trying to get people, boom, they're at attention to the movie, instead of just, all right, I'm not going to finish this, I'm just going to go home, or I'm just going to go to something else and stuff. You have to do something now to grab people's attention, instead of the usual slow burn kind of thing that we kind of were used to and stuff, which I get, but
you're right. And I think some of that also is to your point about the attention span, is the whole video on demand thing. Like, if I'm sitting at home watching TV on a Thursday night, that's all I'm doing. It's on basic television. It's got commercials in it. I got to run to the bathroom during the commercials or whatnot, and that's my Thursday night with my family, or with my friends. We're sitting around. It's an event. If it's not that great, we might talk about it while it's not that great. But we all sat there and watched it, and we'll be back next week for the same thing. But when I'm sitting at home and I got, stuff to do, and I have TV on in the background, if it's something that doesn't grab my attention with a gotcha moment or some quick like action or whatever, and it tries to be a slow burn, I'm going to turn it off. And then because it's almost like, I don't want it because it's all right there. Because it's so easily accessible, I don't go back to it, because it's always going to be there until Netflix decides to take it off the net or whatever. But I do think that, what you say?
Or they raise their prices again.
Or they raise
It's like you do that all the time. Paramount Plus did.
Yeah, I got the notification too. I was like, well, do I keep Paramount Plus or not? I don't know.
Well, I get it free. I get it free for T-Mobile, but still though, it's just it's the principle though.
Yeah.
But EJ had this question: how much longer do we have to keep working so hard just to get so little? And the answer is forever. Nothing is easy.
It's capitalism.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, that's a bad part too.
For Leonardo DiCaprio never winning a Grammy, or is it a Grammy?
Oscar
forever. And when he finally won it, it was for a movie he didn't really do anything. I was like, oh, this is real.
It was over dramatic acting.
Right. What did he win an Oscar for?
The Titanic.
The Revenant.
No, you would think it would be the Titanic.
For the Revenant.
Revenant? Oh,
he did win it for the Revenant. I forgot about that.
That movie was
boring.
That
was his.
It was very boring, but that's what he won it for. That's why after that happened, I was like, oh, these awards are not real.
These awards
are not real because he's been snubbed so many times for so many other movies. Catch Me If You Can, Titanic, Inception, where he
was eating Gilbert Grape.
Right.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
Yeah, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, yeah. So yeah, and that's just a common thing that happens. Like, look at Angela Bassett and her performance.
I don't feel sorry for Leonardo because he's still a white man, and he's always working. What?
I didn't say I felt sorry for him.
Okay.
I said once I realized he wasn't winning, the awards were not really based on anything.
Who I do feel sorry for is Angela Bassett and the performance she gave.
What's love got to do with it? She should have won.
Right.
I'm gonna
put my black card
she
at
did
risk.
not.
I'm gonna put my black card at risk and say that she didn't deserve the Oscar for Wakanda Forever. It was good. It wasn't that great.
It was.
I don't think it was an Oscar-winning performance. It was good.
Who won the Oscar?
I have no idea who won.
The yogurt lady.
Who?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, that was all ridiculous.
Yeah, she won for some now.
She won for being a side character, like not.
It was
all at once.
Yeah, it was a side.
She won for some bullshit.
It was a side.
No, I would say that again.
No. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once was a very good film. I just don't think Jamie Lee Curtis should have been nominated as a supporting actress in that film, considering there were two others better than her in that movie.
Right, the tide of
he got the award because it's hey, we appreciate your career. Here's a free award.
And that's not what the award is for, which is why the voting body needs to be revamped.
It feels like they keep you in the pocket until they need to one up somebody else, and then it's like, all right, we calling you up to the front.
I think I heard somewhat. Isn't that the people who get the awards? They have to pay a certain amount of money to get the award, or they actually do voting?
No, they do voting.
They do voting. But money is handed under the table. So it's a known thing that they smooth the people who are voting.
There's campaigning.
Yes, campaigning. Thank you, Joy.
I think Monique showed us that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, she did.
Yep. And we were like, oh, so that's how it works. And then we realized that they don't even have to watch all the movies that come out that year.
Right.
We were like, you don't?
Like $1 million. Hey, they pay like $1 million.
I'm trying to figure out how Marty Supreme got an award, and that joint was out for like 10 days. He's like,
it hit the cut for the cutoff day because I'm part of AFCA, so like it hit like right at the line of when you have to turn in a movie before the fiscal year, and it hit under the wire.
Okay, I was like, enough people seeing this movie in this short of a span.
Once you put the screeners out to all the critics that need to see it and stuff, and then you get those little 5 days in theaters. That's all you really need because the critics already seen it, so they can do whatever.
Okay.
Now, I agree with you. Like, David never should have been nominated for Everything Everywhere All at Once, but Stephanie Hsu should have been. For villain.
Yes, Malachi. You're right.
But they're like, no, we have to give a white woman something. Here.
And there
you go. And there you have it. There you have it. The Supreme Attorney. There you go. Right on the money.
But this is why we don't, I think, and this goes to another point. We as the Black community, I don't see us by and large watching the Academy Awards with any type of
expectation.
Anything. Like we have zero expectation. We know the white person's going to win regardless, even if the Black person is nominated. There was a clip that came up on YouTube a while ago, and I don't even know how I got into my algorithm because I don't watch anything about Academy Awards. The category was Best Supporting Actor. 4 of the actors were Black. 4 of the 5 nominated actors were Black men. Don't ask me what year it was. All I know is that I think Don Cheadle won. Which is surprising. I'm like, this is like the key way to screw over Black excellence. You got 5 men nominated,
was that the
4 Black, and the white dude didn't win. I was shocked.
I think that might have been for Hotel Rwanda.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I can't remember who the other actors was. Because I think Chiwetel Ejiofor.
He
was in another movie.
I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name. He was nominated as well, and I can't remember who the other 2 were.
So I thought it was for because when you said that, I was like, no, it wasn't for the movie where he was like undercover with the Iraqi terrorists and stuff like. I was like, no, it wasn't that one. I was like, oh, Hotel Rwanda, that's the other one.
If we're suffering, we might win.
Yeah, or playing something. Right, or playing
like 12 Years a Slave.
What?
Like 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Or if you're a convict or you're a hoe or slut, you're gonna win.
Now I want to talk about that. I want to talk about
I was about to get into that too. That was a good segue.
So the stereotype, because Kid to Crazy X has been Kid to the Crazy X has bbeen talking a whole lot over here, and I've been trying to keep up with that as well. But one of the things that I think about is we want more representation, but then when it comes out and it's, let's just say, middle of the road, some Black people get mad that it's not Black enough or it's not hood enough, and like this idea of what it means to be Black is so narrow, and so they look for the stereotypes, but then get mad that we're a stereotype. You know, like I didn't know this until the TV show Blackish came out, because a lot of people didn't like Blackish. They said Black people don't live like that. Imagine a doctor and an ad exec being married and having kids in the suburbs. I was like, that's all my friends. But at the same time, because I said something online like, you know what, Cosby Show didn't get this kind of hate, and people were like, oh yes, it did. Cosby Show absolutely got a lot of hate because they said a doctor and a lawyer wasn't representative of the average Black person, and if this didn't represent them, even though the Cosby Show is beloved now, Black people had a problem with it when it came out because it wasn't.
I grew up literally just like the Cosby Show. My father was an architect,
you know what's
my
crazy?
mother was a nurse, and we lived in a brownstone in Harlem.
But you know what's crazy? What? Now let's go back to the old school good times. People saying, "Damn, we don't live like that."
Right.
Now you got a struggling family coming from the ghetto trying to make it.
Well, I mean, it's the aspect of people not understanding is like we're not like a monolith, so it's kind of like you're getting all these different viewpoints, because even
we all have different lived experiences as Black Americans.
When he did Boomerang, I think that clip of him on Jay Leno, he's like, no, I just wanted to show some high upper middle class Black people in the world just having fun dealing with relationship stuff, and that's it.
But at the same time, the show The Wired is panned for being amazing. You know, they and that was a stereotype. Baltimore, it took Baltimore decades to live that down.
Yeah.
You know,
but I mean, but the thing I think with The Wire though, what made it work was it had a very it wasn't like trying to like downplay Black folks. It was just like, oh no, this is real. Like this is what it is, and you know that's just what it is. You know, not nothing.
But they are like very upper middle class Black people that live in Baltimore.
You saw all those spectrums in that show. That's why I like it, because it's like, oh, you're seeing the people in the police department that's on this tier, but then you're seeing, oh, there's people, Black folks that are just struggling, just trying to get by. And so it showed all those things. I think it throws people off because you're not showing you're only showing to the good times thing. Oh, these people live in the ghetto. I'm like, yeah, man. That's a normal thing.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then turn around, you have what's happening. So,
but then you have like, you know, I hate to flip it on white people, but you have their shows that do the same thing.
Right. Like Married with Children. They hated each other.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Roseanne.
Roseanne. Or what is it? Duck Dynasty, the reality shows.
Tiger King.
Tiger King.
Because it's all stupid. It's like, look, I have my beef with reality shows, but it's like, look, it is what it is. What am I going to do? I ain't the demographic for it. I don't watch it. Y'all have fun. I'm over here.
I am definitely the demographic for reality shows, and sometimes I get frustrated because Love and Hip Hop is just all the tropes that you could think of, all the recycled storylines. Every time the Real Housewives franchise has somebody that knows how to speak what they want to say instead of just fighting, they get canceled. I love Married to Medicine in LA.
Boring is bad.
I just don't like it. Boring is bad. Boring is
not tantalizing enough. But there is one difference here. So I think the reason we get so upset, as Black people, is we are still held to a monolithic expectation. Like they think we all like this. The crimes of one paint all of us together. White people don't have to live with that problem. So they can have Roseanne and Duck Dynasty and Tiger King and say, look at that guy over there, he's weird. But when we do Power, see, they're all drug dealers. Right?
But it's entertaining and I love it for it.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
And then you got some of the people that complain that some of our best hoodlums on TV ain't even from here. All of our
import them.
Right,
all of our what do they call our best? Some of our best hood actors are all in it Blacks,
bro.
Look, they're Afro.
The mayor of Kingstown, that big Black dude. I was like, he's a Brit.
Yeah, Idris in The Wire, Franklin Saint. I will say though, when they try to replicate it over there, I do laugh because trying to do Bloods and Crips on e-scooters and Supercell. I'm sorry, that took me out of the entire episode.
Gangs of London or Gangs of London, how they you get
but that's what made Top Boys better, such a good show, because it was very much like, no, this is actually like London hood life. I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
but on a sidebar, I am excited for season 2 of Supercell.
I am. It's just I get it. They have and I know they have their
own. Was really good. That was a good one.
And I know they have their own type of cultures over there when it comes to like that nightlife. It's just the weird to see a red and blue, but I'm like, but you had to scan the code and get on the e-bike first to pull up on your ops, and that just took me out. Oh, like when they rolled into the party, like I'm like, y'all really sat there with an angry face like this for 20 minutes. Is somebody playing the hype in the back of it? Like that's just what my mind
people in the hood, they never did a drive by on a bike before.
That's true.
American
fiction did the
Excuse me, sir. I said a suit whoop.
But anyway, I do have a request. We got one last question that Mark wants to ask of everybody, so I want to make sure we get to that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of things on the show tonight, a lot of fun, interesting things, but I do want to propose this thought experiment, this question. We don't have to necessarily answer it tonight, but coming up on February 2nd, we're doing Blerd Culture Explained. We're going to talk about this a little bit more, but in the media world, in the sci-fi and fantasy, whatever, to tell a Black story, do we have to always include Black trauma, i.e. racism, slavery, Jim Crow, gang violence, drugs, all that, or can we just have a story with predominantly Black characters that's for Black people without the stigma of what it's like to be Black?
I think it's dependent on like what the period of time they want to do the movie in. So I think you can have like a movie where it's like, all right, if you're going to set it in 1950s, that's the unfortunate aspect of you're going to have to
what's coming.
Get a little bit of trauma, a little bit, not crazy, but it's like it's the 50s, I think where we get angry at is when it's like the 50s, and I'm like, this is very sanitized 50s, no racism, like it's kind of weird. Like that's where we get mad.
That's why I like Lovecraft. Is it Lovecraft?
Yes. You get that. But then like I watched Michael John's white movie, was it Trouble Man? And I'm like, no, I actually like this. This is just straight up action. Black folks just being Black folks. We're having fun. You get your villains, you get your heroes. Everybody's having fun.
Django Unchained was absolutely a comedy.
Yes, it was. It was a comedy.
I mean, you can, but like I said, you can get those different spectrums, and it's fine. It doesn't have to be trauma and stuff. And to me, if you're gonna put the trauma in the movie, at least to me, it needs to at least make sense.
Yes. So we had a block of time where we did that. If you think about the everything from School Days to Love and Basketball, Love Jones, the Brothers, The Best Man. There was a whole run of movies the 90s, where it was
mid-late 90s.
Your lives. And even more recently, I just looked up because I want to remember, Lovebirds was a movie with Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani.
Yes.
And
it was a rom-com. It was a rom-com.
Yeah. And I like that, it didn't bring out especially the fact that she was Black and he was Indian, but they were, and they didn't shy away from it, but it wasn't like the focal point of the show. Right. It's just a couple of references. I think we can do more of that. We just have to recognize that we can do more of that.
Yeah.
That's why I like Queen of the Dam so much, because she was a vampire, but we didn't have to talk about slavery or anything else. It was just, she's a vampire and she's the best. Cool.
And the story. That. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And as someone brought up earlier, the interview Eddie Murphy did with Jay Leno about Boomerang. He just wanted to show Black people doing everyday things that everybody else does. And that's basically, aside from it being a love story, that's basically what Boomerang does. It was, excuse me, as a film.
About Black people in corporate America.
Right. Yeah. And now let's talk about that just a little bit more, because Boomerang is very much a Black movie that a whole lot of white people didn't see.
Of course.
They have not seen it. They don't know anything about it. They know Coming to America.
Great soundtrack, though. Boomerang had a wonderful soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. I still be rocking that song. And, so that when we talk about, you got to coordinate, they don't get that. They don't know what that's.
Yeah, that's a black thing. Like, you gotta understand.
Bang, bang, bang. They don't know where that started. They don't know anything about, they don't know that Chris Rock is in that movie playing a mail clerk. They don't know that how star-studded that cast really was. because they missed it. And then they get offended and want to be invited to the cookout and all this other kind of stuff because they feel like y'all are being divisive. No, we're not divisive. You just have no interest in us until you can exploit us.
And
Right.
there's no invites to the cookout. There are no invites to cookout.
No, there's no.
I got to touch on that. Can we just stop inviting everybody to the cookout? Because I
There's
think
no
the whole
cookout.
backyard.
There's no cookout.
Cookouts canceled.
There's
y'all
no-
got canceled.
there's no-
Doesn't mean they can come.
There is no cookout. Cookout's been canceled.
No.
all invites have been rescinded and are under further review until
For the next
forever.
3
Thank you,
years,
Tafari.
rescinded.
Thank you.
At this
Yeah.
point, let's go. At this point, let's go back to COVID. Stay at home.
It's-
Shit.
Right. So you can
Thank you.
I also like how on social media there's been a few bots be like, what's one thing that Black people know that is like an unwritten rule? And the whole comments is, why would we tell you that?
That's a
Yeah.
setup.
We're not talking
That's a
about that.
setup. That's a setup. That's a setup. I'll delete those comments and those posters who post stuff like that because it's off kilter. No,
Or when they're just trying to do rage bait.
or
Yeah.
they get blocked
That's
and
the thing to
deleted.
do now.
It is
Totally
family.
right.
It's family reunions and that's it. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
if
No,
you're
Boomerang
not-
was not written by white
if
people.
if you are not keen, you are not getting in. That's it.
Exactly.
I do like Chris Tucker in Fifth Element.
Yes.
That was a really
Fifth Element is my
I like
favorite
that
movie.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
It was everything, and it wasn't like, oh, he's black. It was just like, that's Ruby Rose.
Yeah. Ruby Rod. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're right.
Ruby
Like that
Rod,
movie was,
yes.
I mean, and Zeus was the president of the world.
Yes.
Right?
And it wasn't like, oh, the first black president. It's just like,
Debo.
president.
Debo is president.
I loved
Debo
it.
was
I loved
elected,
it.
yeah. What about Jack Black? What about him?
What about
What's
him? I was
that?
about to say.
Bama, what about Jack?
What's that to do with what we
Context, Bama.
Panther.
We love Jack Black. What we're saying is,
Hey,
here's the
Bama,
thing.
Bama, if they cool, they wouldn't ask. They know better.
Exactly. I was just about to say that to Tafari. If they are cool, they won't ask to come to the cookout.
Exactly.
And if they're not cool, then they still not coming. We're just not doing it. Or if we decide to have, like you said, a family reunion, you got to be married or related to somebody to get up in here.
Hey, even if you married, I'm gonna be like, I need to see some credentials. Because some of these
Like
spouses.
Prince Harry can come to the family reunion for
Oh yeah. That
Megan's
was,
family.
that
Yes.
was
I'm that type of person on the phone. Who all over there?
Who all over?
right. Right.
Who all up in there is going to determine a lot for me.
Yes. Absolutely. Who's all over?
And Gary Owens.
Not Gary
right.
Owens. It's Gary Owen without the S.
Yeah, Gary Owens. Well, you know, Black people gonna put an S on everything.
Mhm.
Exactly. He made a whole special about it. It's so funny.
Yep. Like it's not Sonics, it's Sonic.
Kroger's. It's Kroger.
There you
It's
go.
Kroger's.
Mm-hmm.
Publix was smart. They just put an X on the end, like it's gonna be
Public.
Publix.
That's what we got.
Okay.
That's so hilarious.
I tolerate it. I just
That is so hilarious.
I get a little agitated seeing it.
You know, I know we're almost at time. I just want to touch on this. I get a little agitated seeing unmelanated people in blurred spaces, but I tolerate it. So recently there was this whole kerfuffle across the internet with Asian folks because white folks keep going into like the H Marts and the Asian stores and everything. And I think it's sort of like one woman, I'm not sure which ethnicity she was claiming, but she was like, I'll be side-eyeing these white people in here because next thing you know, like seaweed is going to be like $200. And she wasn't, that's very much paraphrasing what she was saying, but she caught, some people were like, yes, exactly. Other people were like, you know, we should share our culture, blah, blah, blah. And so they had the conversation that we've had for a long time. And a lot of us were sitting in the comments like, ha, 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 now you understand.
Joy, I have a story about that, Joy, and it happened over the weekend.
Okay.
That's the thing. It's just the self-preservation of
Yes.
it.
Mark,
Yes.
you was a part of this. We had a Blur photo shoot last year at MomoCon 2025.
Mm-hmm.
All the black
Yes.
cosplayers there. It was just one white guy. When
I was there.
Every
I heard
black
about it.
person,
I was
every
there.
black person was finna attack him. I was like, hey, bro, I went up. Mark could tell you, I went to her personally. I say, fam, just come to the side for me, because I mean, everybody standing around was finna attack him, and he was standing right in the middle of all these
Dead
guys.
center. Dead
That's
center.
the part of how they try to enter our spaces.
I was like, bro,
yeah.
Oh, shit, boy.
Man, but onto your point, Joy, about white people being in spaces.
They want to know
I live here in Washington D.C. and we just had this major Asian department store opened up called Tesso, and across the river in Virginia on Friday. It's so if you've ever been to Japan or Korea, you know Tesso. It's a huge. It's sort of like Wally World, Walmart, and it has everything from skincare to home goods to food to supermarkets to candy to Gunpla to models kits and everything.
Yeah, we got
the line was, I went Friday because I took off. It's the King weekend, so I went. When I tell you that line, it took 3 hours to get in.
Jeez.
And the majority of the people that were there were 8.5 by 11. And Asian people, there was Asian people driving around the parking lot. They were just looking, and I saw a lot of them drive off. I was like, you know what? And after like an hour, I said, this is not even worth it. I wait another month until the hype dies down. It's the same thing, you know. And we have H Mart. We have a supermarket called Latte, which is a Korean supermarket, huge Korean supermarket here in Washington D.C. that people come to all the time. And they are in there. I mean, they're like, but you say kimchi smells nasty, but why are you in? No,
why change now?
It you know, because I like you know Asian produce, fruits and vegetables, you know, and it's just I'm there all the time. I'm just like, look at this.
This feels like the chopped cheese thing from New York where that white girl did the video and it just
don't get me started. Don't get
another cheese.
Let's not go there. Let's not go
I know.
Sorry,
I didn't
jump over that rabbit hole.
Yeah, right over that. I do want us to end out. There was one other question somewhere way back in the comments that said, if you could create something, anime, movie, et cetera, what would you create? Like, what would that topic be? It's a deep question to ask, but try to keep it under 20 seconds.
I'll make for me, I'll make a video game.
Okay.
Because I only know one other Black developer and publisher, Ariel Knight, and he makes Black video games.
And he just made Drop Shot.
Yeah, Drop Shot. Yep. And he made We Don't Surrender. We don't. Yeah, he made
Knights Never Surrender.
Yep. Never Surrender. Yep. I got, and February 17th, 2026 is Ariel Knight's Drop Shot. So I'm gonna get it. But for to answer your question, Joy, it'd be video games.
Okay.
It'd be both the developer and the publisher.
Okay. CJ, what about you?
Probably more so on the sort of I guess it would be more on the business side of like explaining to folks that want to like start up their own sort of like, if they want to start a convention or anything like that, kind of like have like something that's like an educational thing on helping those folks out instead of them leapfrogging into the deep end of the pool and floundering and stuff. You can at least give people a heads up on what they need in order to pull off like a successful event or anything on that nature. Because I think a lot of people don't know, like, you know, especially younger folks that want to kind of get into that kind of thing. They don't have an understanding of sort of the process of things. So just kind of investing on that end.
I like that.
To make a con from soup to nuts is a Herculean effort, and it is not.
But education goes a long way.
It is. It is not for the weary. Trust me.
Yeah. I know a lot of people. They
20
don't
seconds.
Know, so,
20 seconds.
So sorry.
Next group. Who wants to go next?
Supreme Attorney, you up?
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
Well, if you could make something from a media, whether it's a cartoon, video game, music, movie, whatever, what would you make? What would it be about?
Anime hot men.
Gotcha. Understood. Miles, James.
Something that would raise the awareness of all the sports that we as a community think ain't for us were invented by us.
That would be a great show.
Because not many people realize that we invented ice hockey.
Yes. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's do that on the next episode of History for Moana Nui, since it's going to be Black History Month. Or going into Black History. So we'll do all the sports that you didn't know Black people started.
Oh, I'd like to be a part of that. Oh, yeah.
Okay. We can invite you on.
Thank you.
Tafari, what about you?
I've had this idea for a couple of years about a show just called Family, and you literally go through the life and death of one black boy from like him being a baby to like an elderly man, and each episode everyone gets a year older. You see how the family trickle down, who picks up what, who unlearns certain things, who got what from who, and you go through like 3 to 5 generations in the span of a couple seasons.
So that's kind of cool.
That sounds like an anthology. Yeah. I like it. Do that. Okay. Write it down and then copyright it.
Check.
Yes. Yes.
We'll be looking for the first treatment in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Skip, what about you?
If I had to make anything, it probably would be something with black people and magic. Instead of they using wands and everything, they using hand size to cast their spells.
Chris Magic in the cancer. So that would be awesome.
Skip. So could it be like sort of like what is it? The Wheel of Time? How they were channeling? How they use their hands to do all the yes, do stuff. Yeah, I like that, Skip. You know what? Yeah, black people, we are magical anyway.
We magic anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'll go next and I'll let Marc go last. For me, I'm a writer, believe it or not, a lot of things. But I actually had this idea for a trilogy of books, and it's a flip on it's post-apocalyptic and all that stuff. But we have put the 8.5 by 11s at the bottom of the food chain. And they are stereotyped as being violent, and so they only get jobs where they get to exercise their little tendencies. And they have this underground like lost knowledge thing where they're like, we used to be kings, and they remember what's that name? Remember King, what's the king from Excalibur and all that stuff?
King Arthur.
Remember King Arthur is going to be like one of their rallying cries as they try to climb up. And that's just the first book, and then it goes on to a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, like what if we flipped it on its head and people were judged not by the color of their skin, but by the texture of their hair?
Joy, I love you so damn much. Joy, I love you so damn much. I will read the fuck out of that, Joy. I love you so much.
Make that a movie now.
Joy, work on that.
Okay.
Joy, yes.
I'm gonna work on that.
Yes.
Marc, what about you?
So, and I've actually kind of thought about this. I'm still kind of thinking of a name. I would create a search engine. I know it's not in the context of what we was talking about. I would create a search engine that's just for black stuff, for black people. If you're looking to get a loan, use the black Google to find out where you can go get a loan at. You're looking for an anime, a comic book, a specific how black people do things a certain way. Just use this search engine, because when I look for things, like say a recipe, if I'm making pho, something black people never made, I'm still searching for the black version of how to make this Asian delicacy, because that's just where my mind goes first. Secondly, because of the context of this channel, a lot of black people don't know that black people have done a lot of the things that we are craving. So a one-stop shop where you can just look up all the things black people have done throughout history and just find it and where to go get it and consume it would be a great idea. And that's my idea for the question.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Sort of like the search engine, like Green Book, sort of like search engine or
something like that, but for any and everything you're looking for within the history of blackness.
There's your name right there, blackstuff.com.
Blackstuff.com. There you go.
I don't know. You might have to change that name, because that sound kind of triple X a little bit. Black. Let's just change it a little bit.
That would go for my anime, not for you.
You and your hot men, right?
Yeah. So right now it's just called Black Google, so you understand the concept of black people.
He said, "Wait, blerd.com." There we go. Much better.
Blerd.com.
But I gotta say, I forgot the other book at work, but this show was actually kind of a brainchild of me reading this book, Black as Fuck History.
Can't see it.
Can't see it.
Put it in your chest.
Yeah, Black AF History, and
Michael Harriot. Yes.
And in conjunction, I am reading Space Funk, which is a futuristic sci-fi anthology about Black people in space, and it's pretty much what we was talking about at the beginning of this episode. Just Black people in space and us trying to exist, and white people like you don't belong here. Every single story is like that. So that gave me an idea for this show. So thank y'all for coming on and just talking about Black people in sci-fi and nerdy spaces. So thank y'all.
And
especially
talking about
it can be found on the internet because we got to get out of here.
Okay. Also, what make great gifts for the children or even adults in your life is the ABCs of HBCUs.
Nice
2 books.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Black woman. She developed it, both the freshman and sophomore series about the ABCs of every HBCU, all 108 HBCUs.
Sounds right.
Yeah, the numbers dropped over the years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are bringing it into the show. I think this has been a really good conversation. Thank you to the chat for being so lively. We could barely keep up with y'all. I would shout all y'all out, but it's a lot of y'all. But y'all know who y'all are. We appreciate y'all being here and sticking with us through the whole thing. As we go out, just remind everybody where they can find you on online. I'm Joyride08 on Instagram and Threads. Tafari, where are you?
Literally all platforms under this name. So if I'm not doing something, yep, all platforms. You can find me on. If there's a social app, I'm probably on it under that name. You can find me doing either skits, short ramblings, talking about TV. And every January I kind of do this marathon where I am a retro streamer. So some days you'll see me playing old stuff while I'm on this thing over here. So
nice. All right. James?
Find me at Miles Simmons on IG and Threads. It's pretty much where I post all of the chaos that I come across on social media. You can also find me on the Moana Nui network every second Wednesday doing Geek Speak on Sports, every first Thursday doing opinionated variants of the 616, some random Wednesday of the month doing What You Watching, and every last Tuesday of the month with Joy doing this 3.
And Supreme Attorney?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, The Supreme Attorney. I talk about, is your favorite character going to jail? I talk about what I do in court and how I'm going to avoid jail because the judges hate me.
Blerdover, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me on all social platforms, Blerdover. I do skits, I do talk shows, which I brought back being a blur, while I interview Black excellence inside the nerd community. Also, we will be at BlerdCon hosting 2 panels. I will be teaching self-defense 101 because I have heard a lot of stuff that's going on in the nerd community that Black people and Black women in particular need to learn how to defend themselves. So I will be doing a panel of what to look for, how to defend themselves. And we will also be bringing back Blerding Out, just like the hit show Wilding Out. So we'll be at BlerdCon. And y'all just check us out on all platforms.
All right. And Dana?
Yeah, hey, I'm on IG and Threads at NYC Playboy. I post everything, so food, cosplay, travel, everything, that I do for the blurred culture, but I don't overshare. So I'll be at BlerdCon, and then I'll also be at MomoCon. So I'll see you guys there.
All right. And last but not least, CJ.
Yeah, as you see the name at 3 Black Geeks, you can find us on all the platforms, Twitter, IG. Well, we're pretty much just Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You'll see a lot of our stuff there. We kind of sort of still on Twitter, but it's just there. So, I mean, if you happen to follow us on Twitter, fine, whatever. But we are on Blue Sky. We're pretty active on Blue Sky, so you can find us there. My personal social media, CJ WizGeek, it's up on. I'm on Blue Sky, chatting it up on me there. And yeah, we do our weekly show, 3 Black Geeks. It comes out every week. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, Marc, take us out.
All right. Thank you all for coming on the show tonight. If you haven't, please support the channel by becoming a channel member for as low as $2 a month. Coming up in the month of February, we have a lot of member-only things, pay-per-view things, and if you are not a member, you will miss out because it will be locked behind a paywall. Next week we have another indie comic book creator coming on the show, promote his book. And the week after that, we are doing Blerd Culture Explained, where we're going to dive super deep into the conversation of protecting Black spaces and exactly what is Blerd culture. Is it Black culture? Is it nerd culture? Is it a combination of both? We're going to talk about that in detail. And a lot of the things we talked about today might make an appearance back. But if you haven't, please like and subscribe, leave a follow, leave a comment, and thank y'all for watching. Peace.